You know, it always amazes me how gullible the public are. We all know, including the gullible ones, that how do you know when a politician's lying? His lips are moving. We all know this. Politicians lie all the time. But apparently, they're not lying now. Now, this time they're telling the truth. Even though every other time they have lied blatantly, this time we can trust them because, you know, this time they're telling the truth. How gullible are the public? Well, the first link in the description, it's entitled Game Over, Must See. And it's basically using World Health Organization documents that you can go and check it out yourself, which basically prove the government, in particular the British government, have committed high treason. It's all in the video, half an hour long, but it explains everything using their own statistics. It's game over for them, for those that have the bollocks to go and see. I know that you lot listening will, but many won't because they're too scared. And it's been amazing how easy it has been to scare them. Now, before I get on to the main point, I'd just like to show you this. This is a Sylvia Browne written with Lindsay Harrison. End of Days, Predictions and Prophecies about the End of the World. It's written in 2008, as you can see. Well, you can't see there, but check it out and you'll see it. And in particular, I'm looking at this part here. In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. Almost more baffling than the illness itself will be the fact that it will suddenly vanish as quickly as it arrived, attack again 10 years later and then disappear completely. Now, as we know in these books, they do... Well, this is supposed to be someone that can see into the future, which you couldn't falter for what she said there, to be fair. But you watch that first video and you absolutely know, the first link in the description, it proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that our government have and are still committing high treason. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic and/or military consequences of the lie. It thus becomes vitally important for the state to use all of its powers to repress dissent. For the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Joseph Goebbels. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. Mark Twain. If you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed. Adolf Hitler. Inner Earth tunnels. This map, created in 1978, shows a network of underground tunnels. It is a vast labyrinth of bases under the US, with most of the entrances located in national forests. Bill Gates arrested. Now, I hope it's true, but I've heard several reports of it. So let's just maybe go with the fact it may be. UTSAVA tweeted, Bill Gates has been arrested and has posted bail. Under house arrest, he is trying to fight his charges but will go to prison. UTSAVA, accurate Trump, no, that's the links. Let's make this clear. Gates has been arrested. He has posted bail. He is at home, not in a studio. He is under some sort of house arrest or at home on bail. However you ever want to call this, He is trying to fight his charges, but he will go to prison. Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion against injustice and lying and greed. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth. William Faulkner. Hope they allow us off lockdown by July 4th so we can celebrate our freedom. A spoonful of $1,200 helps the tyranny go down. Governments don't want an intelligent population because people who can think critically can't be ruled. They want a public just smart enough to pay taxes and dumb enough to keep voting and electing corrupt politicians. George Carlin. When you social distance so well that cops have to find you by helicopter. If you are somewhere you shouldn't be, even a remote campsite, then expect to be spoken to by police and directed to return home. You face a significant fine for doing the wrong thing. Stay home, save lives. How ridiculous is that? Has anyone else noticed that the world leaders aren't wearing face masks, self-isolating or practicing social distancing? Or is that just me? Physical distancing. This one, okay. This one, not okay. This one, yep. This one, nope. This one, looks good. Too close. Low risk, high risk. Essential food, illegal. Our government knows best. The government, when you ask them how many weeks the lockdown is going to last. The bullshit is so bad, this guy died twice. 69-year-old retired Milwaukee police lieutenant died from the bullshit. University of Memphis professor dies from the bullshit, report says. Like I keep saying, when there are inconsistencies like this, that's how you know it's a lie. Scamdemic third world genocide. It is simply Satanism to impose a lockdown on any poor population without giving them the means of economic survival to get through the days and weeks of deprivation. May God bring the world's poor their daily bread and quickly end the rule of the global satanic cabal. Lockdown is often only inconvenient. Having food, a roof overhead, some savings or continuing income, many of us are okay even though our activities are limited by that law. Well, it's not a law, is it? But in the developing world, in countries such as Uganda, India and Indonesia, with little social safety net, the lockdown is catastrophic and people are literally starving to death. Even in wealthy Britain, where the social safety net is not comprehensive, some are going hungry. So just imagine what is happening in countries such as India, where people are starving to death and being beaten by police as they try to find food. It is clearly a violation of human rights for any government to tell people to stay at home without ensuring that household supply of food and life basics, including continuing housing. Bullshit. Proof the government knew this crisis was in decline before lockdown. April 13, 2020. Independent analyst Andrew Mather explained the reality of the crisis which governments do not want to admit. We reveal a new side which shows how the government has access to clear data demonstrating that long before the declaration of UK lockdown and even at the time of the Prime Minister's March 3rd broadcast, the data showed that Italy, Germany, Sweden and the UK were all decelerating, levelling off and then falling away in terms of rate of growth of the contagion. The crisis was over through though the contagion would continue until exhausted. It is as inevitable as a ball thrown into the air, slowing down and coming back down to earth. Our work has shown for now 42 countries just how simple and smooth the progression of the virus is. It isn't difficult to track its trajectory. It is difficult to understand how supposedly decent human beings, our leaders, I wouldn't put that in the same bleeding sentence, could choose to so utterly disregard an opportunity to present simple and basic facts to reassure us, and instead could choose to pluck a figure out of thin air to scare us, deliberately so, and so immediately order us into our homes. What matters now is that they choose to do it, and choose to do it contrary to any possible logic other than their own desire or agenda. Whatever that might be, now it's our turn. Here is the information to bring down the governments who so abused their powers. The video was recorded April 4th, 2020. Links in description if you want to watch it. There it is there. That is the one that's in the very first link. And that proves that all governments, but especially the UK government, are guilty of high treason. The brewing scandal that could bring the government down. April 13, 2020. By True Publica editor. The British public are being lied to by the Boris Johnson government over its handling of the bullshit. The scale of related fatalities and subsequent fallout as the death rate escalates and Britain rapidly rises in the chart of deaths per million, currently 7th in the world and 5th in numbers, the government is now looking to deny cover-up or spin it to trail a failure. The country was initially told by the government that the risk was low. They then failed on the herd strategy and failed in every direction that mattered from there. From the late shutdown to the scale of the lack of PPE and ventilators to the failing and tracking of tracing. The brewing scandal is getting as hard to contain as the virus itself. The UK took precisely the same time, just 24 days, as Italy did, to go from around 100 deaths to around 10,000. On the basis, we can expect another 7 to 10,000 souls to lose their lives in the next couple of weeks. As you can see here, this is from the government's own website. The links are in description. Status of COVID-19. As of 19th of March 2020, COVID-19 is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease, HIGH in the UK. The Four Nations Public Health HIGH group made an interim recommendation in January 2020 to classify bullshit as an HIGH. This was based on consideration of the UK HIGH criteria about the virus and the disease with information available during the early stages of the outbreak. Now that more is known about the bullshit, the public health bodies in the UK have reviewed the most up-to-date information about the bullshit against the UK HIGH criteria. They have determined that several features have now changed. In particular, more information is available about mortality rates, low overall, and there is now greater clinical awareness and a specific and sensitive laboratory test, the availability of which continues to increase. The Advisory Committee of Dangerous Pathogens, ACDP, is also of the opinion that bullshit should no longer be classified as a HIGH. The need to have a national coordinated response remains, but this is being met by the government's bullshit response. Cases of bullshit are no longer managed by HIGH treatment centres only. All healthcare workers managing possible and confirmed cases should follow the updated National Infection and Prevention IPC guidance for bullshit, which supersedes all previous IPC guidance for bullshit. This guidance includes instructions about different personal protective equipment, PPE, assembles that are appropriate for different clinical scenarios. There you have it, folks. And there's the link at the top there. You can see it. It's www.gov.uk/guidance/high, HIGH dash consequences dash infectious dash disease dash HSID hash status dash of dash bullshit dash 19. You're being lied to. You're being totally lied to. High treason committed by our trusted government. The cashless society is a con, and big finance is behind it. Banks are closing ATMs and branches in an attempt to nudge users towards digital services, and it's all for their own benefit. I'm living a cash-only life in a trap and go world. All over the Western world, banks are shutting down cash machines and branches. They are trying to push you into using their digital payments and digital banking infrastructure, just like Google wants everyone to access and navigate the broader internet via its private controlled search portal. So financial institutions want everyone to access and navigate the broader economy through their system. Another aim is to cut costs in order to boost profits. Branches require staff. Replacing them with standardised self-service apps allows their senior managers to financial institutions to directly control and monitor interactions with customers. Banks, of course, tell us a different story about why they do this. I recently got a letter from my bank telling me that they are shutting down local branches because customers are turning to digital, and they are thus responding to changing customer preferences. I am one of the customers they are referring to, but I never asked them to shut down any branches. There is a feedback loop going on here. In closing down their branches or withdrawing their cash machines, they make it harder for me to use those services. I am much more likely to choose a digital option if the banks deliberately make it harder for me to choose a non-digital option. Ex-Illuminati member leaked the current membership of the Committee of 300. Every one of these is on the list for justice. An ex-Illuminati member who is threatening to disclose the world everything about the top secret societies has posted a long list of the elites, members of the Illuminati and the Committee of 300 leadership. The Committee of 300, the top of the Illuminati pyramid. After being a high-ranking Illuminati member for 47 years, the unnamed insider claims that he wants to reveal everything about the secret society's plans. Being part of the Illuminati was, after all, too much to bear for him. In his first leak, the insider exposed the secret initiation process you have to go through in order to become a member. He also disclosed in-depth information about the secret space program and shocking revelations about former US President Obama. Now, in his anticipated second leak, the ex-Illuminati member revealed the names of the senior leadership known as the Committee of 300, listed below. Just recently, another whistleblower released the following video about being inside the Illuminati. Links are in description if you want to see it. The British monarchy and the Committee of 300, current monarch and supreme leader of the New World Order, Queen Elizabeth II, Abdullah II of Jordan, John Forbes Kerry, Roman, whatever that is, Abramovich, Mervyn King, Joseph Ackerman, Glynis Kinnock, Edward Adine, Henry Kissinger, Marcus Ambrose Paul Aguiz, Malcolm Knight. Well, the list goes on and on. Links are in description if you want to see the list of everyone that's going to be held to account for the actions that they've been taking against humanity. I will let Dr. Kissinger explain. Once the herd accepts mandatory forcible vaccinations, it's game over. They will accept anything. Forcible blood or organ donation for the greater good. We can genetically modify children and sterilise them for the greater good. Control sheep minds and you control the herd. Vaccine makers stand to make billions, and many of you in this room today are investors. It's a big win-win. We thin out the herd, and the herd pays us for providing extermination services. Now what's for lunch, huh? Dr. Kissinger. If you're wondering who the sheep are, they mean us, humans, including you, your family and friends. I. Nurse pays ultimate price for lack of bullshit kit. Ashley out, yeah, it's just bullshit. Let's get to the more of the bull. I don't know why I read the papers, because it's all fear propaganda. That's all you get in them. Let's have a look. UK faces worst recession in century, but should bounce back quickly. Yeah, right. It's time to stand up. Rise up. Economy predicted to shrink by 35% in 3 months as lockdown hits everyday life. Growth expected to rebound fast in 2021. However, says Britain's budget watchdog, 2 million workers face unemployment with public borrowing at level not seen since Second World War. By design. Care homes a new front line for the bullshit, with deaths much higher than feared. And why is that? If you saw the video I did yesterday, it's because they're not giving them any medication anymore. They're basically putting them on the Liverpool death pathway. Government will now offer bullshit tests to everyone who needs one in social care. And of course, as we all know, the infection is in the test kits. Army veteran Tom raises 3.4 million for NHS. Hopes for new heart disease treatment. 22 phone masts attacked over Easter weekend. Telegraph. Does he look scared? He should be, because he knows we figured out the game and we're going to be coming for you. Biggest economic shock in 300 years. Budget watchdog warns of slump not seen since 1709 if lockdown lasts 3 months. Unemployment rate could hit 10% with more than 30.4 million out of work. Grim forecast intensifies debate about when the restrictions should be eased. And as we all know, it's all utter bullshit. Care home tests promise after claims LD have been forgotten. So that's going to get rid of them. If you've got any friends or family in them places, get them out if you want them to live. Captain Tom 99 raises 3 million for NHS. Police want to enter homes to stop parties. It's a frigging dictatorship. The dirty secret is our lives are built on home help. Mistakes were made, says France's Macron. Another one due for the guillotining when this is all over. Mirror, your guide to love in lockdown. Slash 4,000 off your bills. All your questions answered on TV's Millionaire Con Show. Virus crisis aftermath. Dark days ahead. Unemployment could top 3.4 million, experts warn. Highest one-year deficit since World War II. But Chancellor insists bounce back will be swift. It will be for you because you'll be at the end of a rope. Express. Captain Fantastic, I joined Army of Land Girls. Chancellor deeply troubled over warnings of economic shrinking by 35%. Now, let's not forget here, this piece of shit is a former banker. This piece of shit knew this was coming, and that's why he's been put in this position. Harder times ahead, but we'll bounce back. You won't, because you will be at the end of a rope. And that's coming very soon. The Times. British drugs giant in deal with rival to make vaccine on huge scale. 2 million could lose job in the lockdown. Economy may shrink by third, watchdog warns. Record weekly death toll as fearful patients avoid hospitals. Yeah, because if they go to hospital, they'll die in them. I've heard several stories now of perfectly well people just having an asthma attack, for instance, going to the hospital, they've took them straight in, put them in an induced coma, and they've died a couple of days later. They've been murdered by the hospitals. If you have anything wrong with you, I strongly suggest you stay away from hospitals. They will kill you. Oh, by the way, Hope you're all clapping the NHS killing us all every Thursday. They're taking the piss, folks. The Guardian. UK economy could shrink by 35% in bullshit fallout. Ministers misleading public over care deaths. Are people dispensable? Care manager tells of toll. I have total authority. Trump rails at US states over lockdown. The scum. Strictly isolating. Even they get into that even when it's supposed to be isolating. It's a scam. Exclusive. Not right now. Locals blast Rita over her country hideaway. As bullshit deaths hit 12,000. Lockdown. UK faces worst slump in its history. Meltdown. 2 million jobs may be lost in 3 months. This is the plan. This has been the plan all along. Daily fail. 4,000 feared dead in our care homes. Shocking virus death toll hugely underreported, warns experts. No, it's because they've withdrawn the medications for everyone in there. As I reported yesterday in that document where the care worker had come home and told them they chucked all the medicines out or sent them back to the pharmacy and they were letting everyone die. This is murder. And it's state organised murder. Kate, 46, dates fourth toy boy, who's just 22. Metro, 99 and has just raised 3.5 million for NHS. Forgotten frontline. Care home staff left terrified without proper kit to fight virus. No PPE, no testing. We seem to be at the bottom of the pecking order. Death toll jumped 778 to 12,107, but only includes victims in hospitals. Utter waste of paper. Loser. Amanda's holding 200 bog rolls. Pogba, my heartbreak. Prince Didums. Prince and Harry's struggling with lavish new life. Ah, shame, eh? FT. Bullshit threatens to hit economy harder than war and flu in 1918. And while we're talking about the Spanish flu of 1918, 50 million people died. Not of the flu, of the vaccine. OBR sees up to 35% output cut. Sunak says tough times to come. IMF predicts deep scars. JP Morgan and Wells Fargo warn of rising credit losers from pandemic. Falling emissions levels masks rising climate doubts. Oh, that's pushing the bullshit climate change shit. And finally, this says it all really. I'm telling you, the guy and the dog are working together. Oh, come on, George, you and your conspiracy theories. Yet it was absolutely correct, wasn't it? How my dog sees himself when the doorbell rings. Yep, that's my dog's as well. Don't lie. You saw what I saw. This is why we're friends. Creating a password. Cabbage. Sorry, the password must be more than 8 characters. Boiled cabbage. Sorry, the password must contain 1 numerical character. 1 boiled cabbage. Sorry, the password cannot have blank spaces. 50 effing boiled cabbages. Sorry, the password must contain at least 1 uppercase character. 50 effing boiled cabbages. Sorry, the password cannot use more than 1 uppercase character consecutively. 50 effing boiled cabbages shoved up your arsehole if you don't give me access immediately. Sorry, the password cannot contain punctuation. Now I am getting really pissed off. 50 effing boiled cabbages shoved up your arse if you don't give me access immediately. Sorry, that password is already in use. I'll give you a hint. It's not the bullshit. Woman spontaneously combust, dies from the bullshit. Body found today. Police found an unidentified man's body in a park nearby. They describe him as having a beer belly, saggy balls, wrinkled ass and a small dick. I was just checking to make sure that you are all okay. The Chinese might have the smallest dicks in the world, but they still managed to F us all.